Hi everybody, welcome to Module 5, and in this module we're going to be going over the second week of the unit circle. So last week we saw how the unit circle was derived, we saw the trigonometric functions for every angle in every quadrant, and now what we're going to do is we're going to look at some strategies to help us memorize all of those trigonometric values. So that's going to be our first objective. Our second objective is going to be to evaluate the inverse of our trigonometric values. So if you know objective 1, then objective 2, you're just going to do the opposite of objective 1, right? That's what the inverse means. We're just swapping the x and the y values. So let's go ahead and get started. So I wanted to quickly review some of the things we learned last week was that the sine of an angle is really just equal to the y value. The cosine of the value is really, the cosine of an angle is really just equal to the x value of that coordinate. And then the other four values, the tangent, cotangent, secant, and cosecant, we can find all of those values using the sine and cosine or the y and x value. So just to kind of remind you guys a little bit, remember that the way we were to create an angle, give me a second, there we go. The way we would create an angle is we would just draw an angle on my unit circle here. Let's say here's the initial side, and then here's our angle. And remember that this angle theta is going to be made up of two sides of a triangle, right? We have our x value right here, and then we're going to have our y value right there. And those two values are going to make up the 2 points on the x-axis, right? So the x value is going to be whatever the length of that side of the triangle is, and then my y value is going to be whatever the length of the other leg of that triangle is as well. Well, we just saw right now that the x value is always the cosine of theta, and the y value is the sine of theta. And then with those two values, we can find everything else. So just a quick little review. Let's see what's next. All right, so I just wanted to go over a few strategies for evaluating the trigonometric values. So the first strategy is we're going to use special right triangles to identify the values of the short, medium, and long sides of the triangle. So we'll get to that in the next slide. Then a second strategy I'm going to show you guys is how to use reference angles. Right, so each value is really a reflection of quadrant 1. So remember, that's how we derived all the values on the unit circle. We just applied the special right triangles to the first quadrant and then reflected it to every other quadrant. Another strategy is to focus on memorizing just the sine and the cosine, or aka just memorize the x and the y values. And we can use those values to calculate tangent, secant, sine, and cosecant. Also, I also wanted to add one more. Another strategy that you're gonna have to apply is you're gonna also have to just memorize the angles in degrees and radians. Okay, there's of course there are strategies for memorizing those. But if you're able to memorize those, everything else is going to be so much easier. Okay, so on this side, we're going to look at the first strategy, which is using special right triangles to identify the short, medium, and long side. And we're going to use that to help us create our unit circle. So let's go ahead and identify those sides. So the way we're going to do it is we're going to first start with identifying the angles, right? So small angle is definitely going to give me small side. So my smallest angle here is 30 degrees. So that is going to go with my side of 1/2. So 1/2 is this measurement right here. So I want to compare this measurement to the other two sides. So I'm going to try to redraw this side just horizontally. That way I can compare it. So let's see. Whoops, let's try that again. Maybe a little bit longer than that. Maybe a little less than that. Okay, that looks good. So we'll just say that that is about the same size as the 1/2. Okay, so this is my 1/2 here. So I'm going to take this side and I'm going to put this right over here. We're going to compare it. Okay, then the next side we have is going to be the, what's the next smallest side? Well, we have angle, I mean. The next one we have is 45 degrees, right? These are both 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is going to go with this side, radical 2 over 2. So I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to take this side over here, and we're going to put this right next to it. Okay, so there we go. We can see, we can tell we've got, we can tell that the red, the side of the 45 is definitely bigger than the side opposite the 30. Now let's see, what's our last side? So our last angle here is going to be 60 degrees, right? So 60 degrees, there's that angle. That's going to go with my side 60 degrees. That's going to go with this side right here. Let me try to draw a better line. There we go. So that's going to go with this side right here. So I'm going to go ahead and take that. I'm going to put that over here as well. Make sure I line it up. Okay. So there you go. Now we can tell, right? Every angle and its opposite side. So we can see that the side opposite the 30 degrees, right? This side right here, opposite the 30 degrees, is definitely the short side here. So we're going to go ahead and fill this in. So opposite the 30 degree, I have my short side of 1/2. Then I have my medium size length, which is going to be, or you can say middle side, whatever works for you, but we know that the medium side is going to be the 45 degree angle, and that is going to be the measurement radical 2 over 2. And then lastly, we have our longest side, which is the side opposite the 60 degree, which is equal to radical 3 over 2. And it makes sense, right? Radical 3 is bigger than radical 2. So then it's got to be, then radical 3 over 2 has to be bigger than radical 2 over 2, right? So that has to be true. Okay, so there we go. Now that we have those three sides, we're going to go ahead and put those on. Alrighty guys, so now that we know the short, medium, and long side, we're going to go ahead and apply those to the unit circle. Now at this point, I don't even need to know the angle measurements, although it is going to help you, especially when you're not looking at a unit circle, because it's going to tell you which angle you're looking at, right? Am I looking at this? Am I looking at this angle? Am I looking at this one? Or am I looking at this one? Okay, so for now what we're going to do, we're only going to look at the x values. So remember that we're actually creating triangles out of all of these angles here, right? So let's go ahead and create triangles out of all of these. So I'm just going to draw a straight line down, right? So from each angle, right, we're starting here, I'm just going to draw a straight line down. All right, that's going to lead you to your to the x value, right? So now I'm looking at this x value right here, right, from 0 all the way to there. Then I'm going to draw it down from the next one. So from here, I'm going to draw a line straight down. And if we notice here, this measurement is going to go from 0 all the way there. Let's draw another line straight down. And if I draw this line straight down, we're going to get our other x measure right here. Let me draw that one again. Okay. So I really hope you guys have noticed something. You've noticed that the x values here are going to have a short, medium, and long side. So if you're ever looking for the cosine of an angle, right? Let's say you're looking for the cosine of an angle. That means you're looking for the x value of that angle. So if we were looking for the cosine of, let's say, this angle right here, then we would have to realize that the x value to this side is the longest side, right? It's the longest side. So what's the longest side here? Well, it's radical 3 over 2. Right? If I wanted to find the cosine of this side right here, Whoops, let's try that again. If I wanted to find the cosine of this side, then it would be the medium size, right? We can see it in red right there. It's the medium size, which is going to be radical 2 over 2. And then we notice we get the shortest side, right? We get the shortest side here on this angle, which is going to be 1/2. Whoops, let's try a different color. You get 1/2. All right, so that's how we do the x values, right? And then now we can go ahead and do the y values. So let's go ahead and look at the y values here. So same idea with the y values. We're going to go ahead and draw a line, a horizontal line to the y-axis, right? So from here, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. You know what? No, actually, let's keep that same green line here. Let's keep that same idea. Let's start with black this time. So now I'm going to start with this measure. This is the y value, right? This is the value that's going to go right here. Then I go to the next one, right, from here to here. All right, that's the value that's going to go there. And then we have this value from here to here, which is going to go there. Notice what I have. I have a short, I have a medium, and then I have a longer side. So we already know how this goes. The longer side, we know, is radical 3 over 2. Then we know the medium side is radical 2 over 2. And then we know the last side is going to be 1. The shortest side is going to be 1/2. So you can use this to your advantage when you're trying to solve for angles, right? So we're going to go ahead and do the rest of the unit circle really quick, just so you can see how this is going to work. So you're going to have to know the x. You're going to have to know all the angles, all right? You're going to have to know this is 0, 30, 45, 60, this is 90. And by the way, while we're at it, what are the quadrantal angles going to be, right? How come I didn't talk about those? Well, there's no trick here, right? From here to here, let's do a different color. From here, from the center 0 all the way to here, that is a measurement of 1. So this is just the point 1. 0. And then from here all the way to here, this is just the point 0 and 1, right? So I don't need to do any work there. Okay, let's go a little bit faster though. All right, I'm not really going to care about the angles right now, right? I'm just saying you need to know the angles, but we're going to do this really quick. So if I wanted to find the x and y value of this angle right here, right, the colors aren't going to really match up in this case, right? We're going to end up with a short side, right? Short side. So 1, my x value is 1, negative 1/2 because I'm going to the left, and then it's long side, and then it's my long side to there, right? So short, and then my long side is radical 3 over 2. Alrighty, then to get to the next one, right, to get to the next angle, so if I want to go to this angle right here, I need to travel medium side, and then medium. So these are going to be radical 2 over 2 and then radical 2 over 2. And then to get to the last one, I've got to do long, right? I've got to go long, radical 3 over 2, negative, and then I got to go up the shortest amount, 1/2. All right, and that's how we get all of those values. And so if I ask you